All glories to Śrīla Prabhupāda, and welcome everybody, Vijaya Pandit in Italy, and Mother Rochisha in Montreal, and Amber Endy Bhaktin, who's soon to be initiated as a Prabhupada disciple. And we are so pleased with that because she has a desire to do it on her own ambition, to go back home, back to Godhead. And such a great soul is very rare. People that are serious about spiritual life are few and far between. And we see that every day in dealing with people, so many people. And there are different degrees of focus. And this is part of the journey in time by the living entity. It's an eternal process. Prabhupada said this as well, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, devotional service is inexhaustible. Inexhaustible. That means that whatever service you perform in this lifetime, it's never lost. It carries with you forever. Whereas material activities, they come and go. Like the odor in the room, it comes and goes. But devotional service never leaves us. And it's most important that we appreciate the opportunity to take up devotional service, effective devotional service, when it arrives at our doorstep. Don't look at it and go, oh, close the door. Sorry, not me. This I, me, and mine mentality of people. It's all about me. It's all about my family. It's all about my money. It's all about my country, like that. This is false ego. False ego in the sense, false identification with oneself as eternal servant of Krishna. We don't see that. We think I'm the body. This is unfortunate. And today, I wanted to read a section from the Gita. It came to me, thank God I got some idea of what to say. Of course, it is in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. This section is very important, and I want us to read this. Ya idam paramam guyam mad bhakte swabhijya yasyati bhaktamai param kritva mam ev vashyati asamshayaha. For one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. Very interesting message, not from me, from Krishna through Prabhupada. Prabhupada's explaining in the purport what is the highest welfare work. The highest welfare work is to give people the proper understanding of the purpose of human life. And if you can do that by distributing Prabhupada's books to confuse people and helping them to cultivate knowledge of it, then no one is more dear to Krishna than that person. Nobody. And Krishna verifies it, Vijaya Pandit here. But we have to be very careful to choose the right people. Generally, it is advised that Bhagavad Gita be discussed amongst the devotees only, generally. For those who are not devotees will neither understand Krishna nor Bhagavad Gita. Those who do not accept Krishna as he is and Bhagavad Gita as it is should not try to explain Bhagavad Gita whimsically and become offenders. Bhagavad Gita should be explained to persons who are ready to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is subject matter for the devotees only, and not for philosophical speculators. Anyone, however, who tries, these words are all very important to note. Every word of the spiritual master is Shastra. Anyone who, however, who tries sincerely to present Bhagavad Gita as it is, will advance in devotional activities and reach the pure devotional state of life. As a result of such pure devotion, he is sure to go back home, back to Godhead. Let's read text 69. Here Krishna is explaining, we'll go straight to the English. Here, there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there be one more dear. And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation worships me by his intelligence. Very profound statements that we have to absorb into our consciousness, that this is the motive for why we do things. Because we've been directed by Krishna directly here in, as it is, the Bhagavad Gita as it is, and we're also directed by Śrīla Prabhupāda most definitely. And the words of the spiritual master and of Krishna are our heart and soul. That is our reason for living. Why are you born? To take this up. Explain, if you're fortunate enough, Krishna Gata, to understand this, then it's your responsibility to share it with others, like a doctor, for example. Now, a doctor, he has a responsibility what to do. What is he supposed to do? He's supposed to help save people's lives. He's supposed to do that. That's part of the oath of a doctor. Now, he spends many years studying how to be a physician, how to help people. Now, in this particular situation, we've spent a long time trying to understand this philosophy for our own purposes, to get out of the prison house of material consciousness. And at the same time, we have a responsibility. It's not just passive activity in Krishna consciousness. It's not passive, it's active. You do things under the direction of the professor, like the doctor. The doctor learns from the professors, and then he practices. So in the same way, Prabhupada is the spiritual master of us, and we are his siksha, his disciples, his students. Student means to listen, not just ignore the instructions of the spiritual master. That is not a good student, nor the instructions of Krishna. That is nonsense. And we think, oh, I am so smart. No, we're not. We are actually simply specks in this universe, and by the mercy of Śrīla Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya, we have this opportunity to serve. So this leads to the next point. The Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. It was very difficult to create this. I'm going to take the very off. It wasn't very difficult. There were some difficulties for us to print these Bhagavatams. First, come up with the idea. You have to come up with the idea. You have to go ahead and plan it, and then you you try to implement it with some kind of determination with a group. We have a team here. It's not a one-man show. It's a group effort. Sure, we have people that are leading at different roles to help guide the ship, just like a ship has different people managing the operation of the ship. But everybody is on the ship, and we're all on this ship. The ship of sharing transcendental knowledge for our benefit and others. Because the greatest recipients of the knowledge are the people that give it. It's an absolute service. These Bhagavatams, and I want to thank a couple of our devotees who have stepped up. There's a lady in San Francisco. Now she's so serious about distributing Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, these original Delhi versions. And she's been a devotee since the 60s. She associated with Jayananda and with Prabhupada. She has a whole, I've mentioned her before, she has a whole collection of Prabhupada memorabilia. She has this Prabhupada's hat and Prabhupada's glasses and Prabhupada's mridanga, Prabhupada, one of his harmoniums, a kurta, and a whole list of things in her house. But she keeps sending me, oh, I've got to get these Bhagavatams. She's ordered 20 sets of Bhagavatams. And by the way, I want to thank Ram Raghava yesterday for stepping up as well and ordering 20 sets. And Amber, thank you. She is going to distribute, Bhakti and Amber, she's going to distribute in the future when she gets more settled. But for now, she wants her set. Of course. That's our favorite books. For me, personally, it's my favorite publication by Śrīla Prabhupāda because of, the memories of using it when we first joined the movement. And those were the only books that we had. We didn't have any other books. But that was it enough, Vijaya Pandit? Yes, it was. This knowledge is very valuable for people who want to get out of the material world. Now, here's the next point. A very important point, and you should learn this about sales. I've been trained by some professional companies, blah, blah, blah. And also I used to go on the streets for thousands of hours in the past to sell books. Went to O'Hare Airport, had a traveling Sankirtan. Prabhupada mentioned us in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in one purport that the devotees are traveling in buses now across America preaching. And there were two buses. There was the bus that Vishnu John had. Now this was pre the Radha Damodar party. This was pre that. And there were two buses. There was his bus, and there was, we called it the blue bus luxury liner. It was also named the VK luxury liner by our godbrothers. And we traveled, and I actually, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, I was traveling down through the States. We were selling Back to Godheads back then and some other small books. And we found out that Vishnu John was in Texas. I believe it was Houston. And we drove there and met him with our bus. And he came on the bus and we greeted him. We had prasadam, for him. And we had a kirtan on the bus with him. So it was a great memory to meet that devotee who was at the time, was a true surrendered soul, a spiritual celebrity for many of us. But at any rate, the point is this, that we were traveling and we were distributing books. And the most important thing with this book distribution is qualify people. That's the purpose of getting these Bhagavatams, to qualify people. Now, how do you qualify people, Rochisha? I'll tell you what you do. You preach to them. This isn't a cold call, run up and sell a book and run away type atmosphere. This is cultivation of people. We want our members to cultivate other people. Why? Why do we want that, Vijaya Pandit? What's the reason? Because it says it here in the Krishna book or in the Bhagavad Gita. One who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, devotional service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. It is very hard to bring people to the platform of actually even wanting to read. Well, all of us in our group, we all anxious to read. It's the opportunity to get out of this entanglement in material world, which we're in. To give I go through all kinds of things in my daily life, but when I sit down, and right now I'm reading the Krishna book, which is fantastic, but when I start to read that, then my mind settles down and I feel some kind of transcendental peace. And then I can carry on, because you have to stay energized in order to carry on with the difficulties of material life, whatever they are, your mind, your relationships with other people, your physical health. It's difficult, but it's simple for those that listen and take up the mission. Sounds like a rap song. Listen and take up the mission. And what is that mission? That we want a pocket, a group of our membership to take on the responsibility with us to sell these 22,000 sets of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatams to sincere people that want to read them. That means cultivation. That means hard work. That means an effort. Teamwork makes dreams work, Vijaya Pandit. If you're not a team player, you won't succeed. I've been talking about this recently, and I've noticed it in the baseball, the Toronto baseball team. And they're a mixed group of people. They're not all so-called big stars that make hundreds of millions of dollars. The one guy on the team, he got signed to a $500 million contract the other day. $500 million. But the person making $500,000 is adding as much value to that team as the person that's getting 500 million, because they are not thinking about themselves. They're thinking about the team. And the point that I'm making to all of us is, think about the mission. Think about the opportunity that's here. And take a chance, take a risk, step up to the plate and hit that home run. Make an order. Order 20 sets. It's only 3 boxes. And then systematically work at it. Week after week, month after month, systematically work at this and perform the highest welfare work, which some people aren't doing. Oh, they're in the guru business. They want to open hospitals and they're going to open up other institutions with their name on it, Founder-Ācārya such and such. Not Prabhupada, but them. And this is Maya. So please consider it. Think about this, what we're talking about. This is not, we're not here to waste time. We are here to get motivated to take action. And in this way, everyone will be benefited beyond their wildest dreams. And Prabhupada says here, as a result of such pure devotion, he is sure to go back home, back to Godhead. Do we understand that? No. It's not easy to understand transcendental knowledge. But if we act with conviction, determination, if we act with a conviction that we will succeed according to the instructions of our spiritual master, then our life will become perfect. How's that? Is that all right, Rachisha Devi Dasi? Look at her. She's nodding. I love it. She's listening so carefully, and we'll keep going. We're going to go to the next section of our program. What do I think? What is this? What are you asking me, Vijay Pandit? Let me look. I gotta look. See if I... What do you think? Distribute the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam also on the streets or door to door? Perfect. Just go ahead. Just do it. Just step up and make it happen. Absolutely. There's a point where we're making specific direction to a lot of people, because we want people to, that that are eager to hear. If they're not eager to hear, what did Prabhupada say in the purport? He says, should not try to explain Bhagavad Gita whimsically to them and become offenders. That's what he says in the purport today. So this is the idea of sadhu sangha, association with devotees. You go over the points, you discuss them. And then if you have any clarification, like you're asking me, oh, should we go out and, yes, of course, do that. Do whatever's necessary, but try to find the good people and give them an opportunity to take up this philosophy and absorb themselves in it and get out of the material world, which is the highest welfare work. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupāda. We'll keep going. And Ram Raghava, what's the next section of the program here?
It is the Śrīla Prabhupāda lecture. It's for 9.5 minutes.
Okay, perfect. Yes, and the other, Vibhav, can we gift Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam to any devotee? Prabhu, I have a rule. There are no rules. Go ahead, make it happen. Hare Krishna. Let's listen to Śrīla Prabhupāda confirm what we're saying. Haribol.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam. There are different types of yoga system. Bhakti yoga, Jnana yoga, Karma yoga, Hatha yoga, Dhyana yoga, so many yogas. But the Bhakti yoga is the supermost. That is stated in the last chapter. I am reading before you the 7th chapter. At the end of the 6th chapter, Krishna says, Yoginamapi sarvesam madgata antaratmana sadhyavan bhajate yomam same yuktatato mataha. Yoginamapi sarvesam. One who practices yoga system, he is called yogi. So Krishna says, Yoginamapi sarvesam. Of all the yogis, I have already stated, there are different kinds of yogis. Of all these yogis, yoginam sarvesam. Sarvesam means of all yogis. Madgata antaratmana, one who is thinking of me within himself. We can think of Krishna. We have Krishna's form. Krishna, deity we worship. So if we engage ourselves in the worship of the deity, the form of Krishna, which is non-different from Krishna, or in the absence of deity, if we chant the holy name of Krishna, that is also Krishna. Abhinnatar Namanan. Krishna is absolute. Therefore, there is no difference between him and his name. There is no difference between him and his form. There is no difference between him and his picture. There's no difference between him and his topics. Anything about Krishna is Krishna. This is called absolute knowledge. So either you chant the Krishna's name or you worship Krishna's form, everything is Krishna. So there are different forms of devotional service. Savanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Bandhanam Dāsyam Sakham Atma Nivedanam. You just hear about Krishna. That hearing is also Krishna. Just like just now we are trying to hear about Krishna. So that hearing is also Krishna. These boys and girls, they are chanting. That chanting is also Krishna. Savanam Kirtanam. Then Smaranam. When you chant of Krishna, if you remember the picture of Krishna, that is also Krishna. Or you see the picture of Krishna, that is also Krishna. You see the deity of Krishna, that is Krishna. You learn something about Krishna, that is also Krishna. So anyway, Savanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Bandhanam Dāsyam Sakham Atma Nivedanam. Any of the 9 items, if you accept, is immediately contact Krishna. Either you accept all the 9 items, or 8, or 7, or 6, or 5, or 4, or 3, or 2, at least one. If you rigidly take and suppose this chanting, it does not cost anything. We are chanting all over the world. Anyone can chant by hearing us. It does not cost you. And if you chant, there is no loss on your part. So, but if you do, then immediately you contact Krishna. That is very good. Immediately, because Krishna's name and Krishna is not Abhinnatyad Namanam. These are the description of the Vedic literature. Abhinnatyad Namanam. Nama Chintamani Krishna. Krishna's name is Chintamani. Chintamani means spiritual. Chintamani, Prakara Sadmasu, Kalpa Vrikkala, Kha These are the Vedic description. Where Krishna lives, the place is described. Chintamani, Prakara Sadmasu, Kalpa Vrikkala, Kha Surabhi Ravipalayantam. So now the holy name of Krishna is also Chintamani, spiritual. Nama Chintamani Krishna, he is the same Krishna person. Nama Chintamani Krishna. Chaitanya. Chaitanya means not dead, but living entity. You can get the same benefit by chanting name as you get a personally is talking with Krishna. That is also possible. But this will be gradually realized. Nama Chintamani Krishna, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. Rasa Vigraha means the pleasure, reservoir of all pleasure. As you chant the name of Hare Krishna, so gradually you relish some transcendental pleasure. Just like these boys and girls, while chanting, they are dancing in joyfulness. Nobody could follow them. But they are not crazy fellows that they are chanting. Actually they are getting some pleasure, transcendental pleasure. Therefore they are dancing. It is not that the dog dance, no. It is really spiritual dance, the soul's dance. So, therefore he is called Rasa Vigraha, reservoir of all pleasure. Nama Chintamani Krishna, Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha, Purna, complete, not that 1% less than Krishna, no, 10% Krishna, complete, Purna. Purna means complete. Purna Shuddha. Shuddha means purified. There is contamination in the material. Any name you chant, because it is materially contaminated, you cannot continue it for very long. This is another experience. But this chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, if you go on chanting for 24 hours, you will never feel fatigue. That is the test. You go on chanting. These boys can chant 24 hours without eating anything, without drinking water. It is so nice. Because it is complete, spiritual. Shuddha. Shuddha means pure, not materially concentrated. Material pleasure, any pleasure. The highest pleasure in the material world is sex. But you cannot enjoy it 24 hours. That is not possible. You can enjoy it for a few minutes, that's all. Even if you are forced to enjoy, you will reject it. No more. That is material. But spiritual means there is no end. You can enjoy perpetually, 24 hours. That is spiritual. Brahma Sokham Anantam. Anantam means unending.
Fantastic lecture. Absolutely. And Prabhupada, just to highlight, not a dog dance, he goes. It's a spiritual dance when the devotees dance. And he was talking about everything is Krishna, everything. And especially the Delhi Bhagavatams, the literary incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So please get on board, make your orders. I've put up my number. I'm waiting for the phone to ring and for you to tell me how many sets we can send to you. Now, the other thing is, it's not easy to do this because especially we're a global organization and we have to figure out logistically how we're going to do it. Okay, so everybody be patient with us. This is a new journey that we're on together on how to distribute Prabhupada's books worldwide intelligently and cost efficiently. All glories to the Sankirtan movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We'll go forward with the chanting of the bhajan by Śrīla Prabhupāda, Jaya Radha Madhava, Kunja Bihari, and then we'll have our reading and discussion led by Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu in Twain Harte, California. Hare Krishna.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Yaśodā-nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yaśodā-nandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Banachari Jamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yasodā-nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodā-nandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Founder-Ācārya Jaya Radha Madhava Founder-Ācārya Jaya Gosvāmī Prabhupāda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda ki jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai Nāma-Ācārya Śrī Haridas Thakur ki jai Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Śrī Advaita Gadadhar Śrīvāsadeva Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai Śrī Radha Krishna Gopinath Sam Khand Radha Khand Girivardhan ki jai Vrindavan Dham ki jai Navadvip Dham ki jai Ganga Mai की जाए जमुना माई की जाए द्वारका धाम की जाए स्वामी तो भक्तविंद की जाए और ग्लोरी टू देयर मिले और ग्लोरी टू देयर मिले थैंक यू वेरी मच
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord, Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 1:1:1. Narayanam namaskritya Narayanam namaskritya Naram chaiva narottamam Naram chaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam Devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayat Tato jayam udirayat. One should utter the means of conquest Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead, Narayana, 2, to the Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Śrīla Vyāsadeva, the author, from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam 1-4. Welcome everyone to this reading and discussion on Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. As we do every week, we will be reading a few selected verses from the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam itself, first canto, second chapter, which explains the meaning and the benefit of hearing this powerful transcendental literature. Yadanudyasina yukta karmagrantini bandhanam chindanti kuvidastasya kona kuryat kataratim. Intelligent persons do cut off the internet of the knot of reactionary work by remembrance of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not give attention to his message? Shushrushoho Shraddadhanasya Vasudeva Katah Ruchihi Syanmahat Sevaya Vipra Punyatirtani Shevanat. or the twice-born sages, by serving those devotees, were completely freed from all ranges of vice. A standard of great service is done, and as the result of such great service, affinity in the messages of Vyāsadeva is made possible. Srinvatam svakata Krishna punyasravana kirtanaha hridyantastoya badrani vidunoti suritsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is also the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, does cleanse the desire for material enjoyment in the heart of the devotee, who has developed the urge for hearing his, Krishna's messages, which are themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Nashtaprayeshu babadrishu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. By regular attendance in the Bhagavatam class or rendering service unto the pure devotees, all that is inauspicious in the heart of a candidate becomes destroyed almost to nil, and thus loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, comes into being an irrevocable fact. Tadara justamo bhava kamalo bhadayaschaye chetayetera viddam stitam sattve prasidati. As soon as irrevocable loving service is fixed up in one's heart, at that time the effects of the nature's mode of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankerings, etc., do disappear from one's heart, and he becomes fixed up in the mode of goodness, which makes him completely happy. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavad tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayati. Thus, when one is positively fixed up in a mode of unalloyed goodness, the enlivened-minded man affected by contact of devotional service of the Lord can positively know scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Vidyate hridaya grantis chidyante sarva samshaya shiyante chasya karmani drishtaye vatmanishwari. The knot of one's heart is thus pierced, and all misgivings are cut into pieces. The chain of fruitive actions are terminated along with the seeing of oneself, the dominating factor. We will proceed with reading the verse. This reading is being conducted from the 1962 original New Delhi edition. All synonyms, translations, and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupāda, Founder-Ācārya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. We are reading from Canto 1, Chapter 7, text number 8. Sasamitam Bhagavatim Kritva Anukramya Chatmajam Shukamadhyapayamasa Nivriti Niratam Munihi Satat Sahitam. Vedic literature. Bhagavatim, in relation with the personality of Godhead. Kritva, having done. Anukramya, by correction and repetition. Cha, and. Atmajam, his own son. Shukam, Śukadeva Gosvāmī. Adhyapayamasa, taught. Nivritti, path of self-realization. Niratam, engage. Munihi, the sage. Translation by Śrīla Prabhupāda. The great sage Vyāsadeva, after compiling the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in its due revision, taught it to his own son, Sri Śukadeva Gosvāmī, who was already engaged in the matter of self-realization. Purport by His Divine Grace, Śrīla Prabhupāda. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the natural commentation of the Brahma Sutras compiled by the same author. This Brahma Sutra or Vedanta Sutra is meant for those who are already engaged in the matter of self-realization. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is so made that one becomes at once engaged in the path of self-realization simply by hearing the topics. Although it is specially meant for the Paramhamsas or the persons who are simply engaged in the matter of self-realization, yet it works into the depth of the heart of those who may be worldly men. Worldly men are all engaged in the matter of sense gratification. But even such men also will find in this Vedic literature a remedial measure for their material diseases. Śukadeva Gosvāmī was liberated soul from the very beginning of his birth, and his father taught him Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Amongst mundane scholars, there is some diversity of opinion in the matter of the date of compilation of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. It is, however, certain from the text of the Bhagavatam that the great Vedic literature was compiled before the disappearance of King Parikshit and after the departure of Lord Krishna. When Maharaj Parikshit was ruling over the world as the king of Bharatavarsha, he chastised the personality of Kali. According to the revealed scriptures, an astrological calculation of the age of Kali is now over by 5,000 of years. As such, it is definitely concluded that Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam was compiled not less than 5,000 of years before. Mahabharata was compiled before Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and the Puranas were compiled before Mahabharata. That is an estimation of the date of compilation of the different Vedic literature. The synopsis of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam was done before the detailed description under instruction of Narada. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the science for following the path of Nivritti Marga. The path of Pravritti Marga was condemned by Narada. That is the natural inclination for all conditioned souls. The theme of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the cure of materialistic disease of the human being, or to stop completely the pangs of material existence. Om Ajnana-timirandasya jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai Śrī-Gurave namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhaktivedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Śrī-Gurave namaha. Bhagavad Vandana Kadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkara Yuktam Kadatehi Visheshatah Adadana Strinam Danteridam Yate Punaha Punaha Srimad-Rupa Padam Bhoja Dhulisyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavatusmyaham Sadadaso asmi sarvata tatkripa pikshako nityam tatprishta satkaromishvam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So this is a very important verse. explaining the importance of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And Śrīla Prabhupada is explaining the chronological history of the compilation of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Just like Prabhupada mentions that amongst different scholars, Sanskrit scholars, religionists, and others, there's different opinions as to the exact date of compilation. But if we look at this purport very carefully, Prabhupada very nicely explains that the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam was compiled just before the beginning of Kali Yuga, after the disappearance of Lord Krishna. It was therefore, and according to astrological calculations, and the text of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, it says it was compiled 5,000 years ago. Now, it's important to note that in Jiva Goswami's Tattva Sandarbha, as well as the various literatures of Gaudiya Acharyas, the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is considered the commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. The Vedanta Sutra is a very intricate, esoteric literature that was compiled by Vyāsadeva, summarizing the essence of Vedic scriptures. And in the Garuda Purana, it is mentioned, Atoyam Brahmasutranam Bharatartha Vinirnayaha, that this Vedanta, this Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the natural commentary on the Brahma Sutras or the Vedanta Sutras. And it is the explanation of the Mahabharata. There's a class of Vaishnavas who think that the Mahabharata is more important than the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. But when we carefully study the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, we see that Narada Muni came to advise Vyāsadeva and explain to him the cause of his dissatisfaction by explaining to him, you have not sufficiently glorified the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. And then the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam was compiled. So the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam was compiled after the Mahabharata, although Vyāsadeva had compiled, or very nicely, Rupa Goswami found the quote, wonderful. Do you have the translation, Rupa Goswami? So after the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, after the Mahabharata was compiled, the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam came up. So this is very important. Here we go. This is a quotation from the Garuda Purana, cited in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, chapter 25, text 143 and 144. Where's the Sanskrit? Up. Could you please put it up? Move the page up, please. Artoyam Brahmasutranam Bharatartha Vinirnayaha Gayatri Bhasha Rupa Usau Vedartha Paribrimhataha Purananam Samarupaha Sakshat Bhagavato Ditaha Dvadasa Skanda Yuktoyam Shatavicheta Samyutaha Granto Ashtadasa Sahasraha Śrīmad-Bhāgavata Vidaha. Let's read the translation. The meaning of the Vedanta Sutra is present in Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. The full purport of the Mahabharata is also there. The commentary of the Brahma Gayatri is also there and fully expanded with all Vedic knowledge. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the supreme Purana, and it was compiled by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his incarnation as Vyāsadeva. There are 12 cantos, 335 chapters, and 18,000 verses. Purport by Śrīla Prabhupāda. This is a quotation from the Garuda Purana. Now, this is very important because both Jiva Goswami, Baladevi Vidyabhushan have also referred to the same verse in their literatures to explain the importance and the unique special position of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Now, you've heard us recently, we've been talking about the first canto, which has been recently published, the original 1962 New Delhi edition, and we are canvassing and asking people to help us distribute these literatures. At least everybody should acquire a copy or a few copies for themselves to put in their library, or to also distribute to some friends, to some schools, to some colleges, to some associates, and everybody. This is very important. In the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam itself, in the first canto, first chapter, there is a reference by Śrīla Prabhupāda that if one gives a gift of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam on a full moon day, this is very, very auspicious and very beneficial. So even from that perspective of giving a gift to certain individuals or relatives, everything, this is very, very beneficial, spiritually very beneficial. And one should try to study very carefully this Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Read some every single day. Every single day, someone should read part of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Sometimes I hear devotees asking the question, well, can we go read other books and other literatures written by the Acharyas? Of course, Prabhupada didn't stop devotees, but Prabhupada's point was, we have already written so many books. We have already, Prabhupada is referring to himself, Prabhupada has written so many different books, teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Ishopanishad, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Nectar of Devotion, Krishna book, Bhagavad Gita, Ishopanishad, so many literatures have been given. And now, with the internet and the searching tools, you can look at any lecture by Śrīla Prabhupada. You have access to all of Prabhupada's lectures on Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, all of Prabhupada's lectures on Bhagavad Gita, all of Prabhupada's conversation, over 7,000 letters. This is a lifetime of study. There was a very interesting exchange in Portland, California in 1979, where one devotee, Parama Karuna, was being told by a devotee to acquire some of the tape ministries of one of the new gurus. And he told the devotee, I'm just still struggling to read the Bhagavad Gita and the books. I've not yet completely read the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam or the Chaitanya Charitamrita or Prabhupada's lectures or Prabhupada's letters. So when I read all of that, then I'll consider reading or acquiring these other books. And he said, but that may be an entire lifetime of study, which is a fact. So devotees should consider these points, because Prabhupada's points, whenever devotees raise this issue of studying other acharyas' books, says devotees are not even reading our books. First, they should study our books, then talk about other books. So this is a very important point, because another thing too, many of these translations of these books, what is the qualification and experience of the translators? Are they really self-realized soul? Do they have sufficient knowledge of Sanskrit or Bengali to translate that? If we look up, Śrīla Prabhupada did the Bhagavatam, the Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita. He gives the Sanskrit verse, the transliteration of the verse, the word for word, the translation, the purport. Are they really doing all of that, or just, and what are they doing? Where are they getting their translations from? How do we know that these translations which are being presented are accurate and correctly representing the actual original text? Now, this is a very important point, because sometimes devotees do not understand how these books from Śrīla Prabhupada were written. You know, one of Prabhupada's leaders, one of the managers, once asked Śrīla Prabhupada, Prabhupada, can you try to translate faster? Would like to get more of your books to get translated faster. And Prabhupada said, you do not understand. These books are not just grammatical translation. They are my devotional ecstasies. So devotees should understand, these are not, because there are many other translations of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. The Gorakhpur Press in India has translated Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in English. There's other pundits who have translated Bhagavatam in English. But do they have the level of realization of Śrīla Prabhupada? The kind of purports that he has written? The level of depth and clarity and realization? It's like we've told that story how in Australia, one lawyer was keeping Śrīla Prabhupāda's books on a shelf. So it was brought to Śrīla Prabhupāda's attention, It was brought to Śrīla Prabhupāda's attention that this lawyer was keeping the books on the shelf, but he did not have the time to read, but he had great appreciation for the books. And Prabhupada commented that he'll be greatly benefited. And Prabhupada said, because these books are representatives of God. In the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam itself, there is a reference. Puranarko adunoditaha, the sages of Naimisharanya raised the question, now that Lord Krishna has departed for his abode, how will religion and knowledge, transcendental knowledge, be manifested, be understood? And the answer through the pages of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Puranarko adunoditaha. This transcendental book is very, very special. And Śrīla Prabhupada, in many of his purports, has explained that hearing the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the same as direct connection with Lord Krishna. It is non-different than directly seeing Krishna in the pages of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So this is very important. This is considered the mature fruit of all Vedic literatures. If one understands the depth and great width of the Vedic literatures, it is a massive amount of knowledge. And the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the topmost fruit of the Vedic literature. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Back to you in the studio. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for glorifying the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam as the literary incarnation of Krishna, and also Prabhupada's work to disseminate it throughout the world as the order he was given from his spiritual master, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Gosvāmī Prabhupāda. This is a mission. And we're asking everyone to join the bandwagon. Oh, yes. You get on the bandwagon and you ride. You don't have to be the leader. You can just be on the, it's good enough. Just join the bandwagon. And we'll carry out the mission with great happiness. Because we have service. Think about it. If you have no service, what value are you? In a relationship. If you have a relationship with somebody and you only serve yourself, you don't serve them, what's the value of the relationship? Zero. So service is the essence of love. Like the situation of a mother for the child. The mother, Prabhupada gives that example, that this is the perfect example on the material platform of love, because the mother serves the child selflessly. And so in the same way, we serve the spiritual master without any personal motive. No. We are interested in simply invoking the mercy of Krishna. Don't act in such a way that you want to see Krishna, but act in such a way that Krishna will want to take a look at you. And he knows what's going on. Krishna says, Prabhupada was explaining in this lecture, Krishna knows everything. Think about that. It's hard to understand that. Just like it's hard to understand that Paramatma exists within the heart of every living being. It's not something that just, you could snap a finger and you realize it, but with determination, with sacrifice, with surrender, things will unfold in our lives which will enable us to get a taste. Cheto darpana marjanam bhava maha davagni nirvapanam. Marjanam, cleansing. You're being cleansed. We are being cleansed of all material poison. Poisons us. Activity in the modes of nature. Goodness, passion, and ignorance. I wanted to read a section here. Very relevant section from the introduction of this amazing literature. This is coming from the books that you'll be distributing. Okay, the ones that you are going to buy and sell to other people. These ones. This introduction is very, very interesting. In the modern age, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached the cult of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam by practical demonstration. And by the way, the word cult is not a pejorative term in this sense. In modern times, by Ted Patrick and these people that propagated this brainwashing philosophy, it was became pejorative. Cult means a group of people with a certain system of belief, a common system of belief. So this is from the introduction, page 3, of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, introduction of the Delhi Bhagavatams. It is easier, therefore, to penetrate into the topics of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam through the medium of Sri Chaitanya's causeless mercy. His merciful short sketch life and the precepts are also inserted herewith with specific understanding of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. This will help the reader perfectly to understand the real merit of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. It is imperative that one should learn Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam from the person Bhagavatam. The person Bhagavatam is one who is very life is practical Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being the absolute personality of Godhead, he is both Bhagavan and Bhagavatam in person and in sound. And his process of approach of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is, therefore, practical for all people of all the world. He wanted it and ordered his followers that the cult of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam shall be preached in every nook and corner of the world by everyone who happened to take his birth in India. Now it's expanded to all of us. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the science of Krishna, the absolute personality of Godhead, as much as we have preliminary information from the text of Bhagavad Gita. Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam said that everyone, it does not matter what he is, who is well versed in the science of Krishna, Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, and for the matter of the Bhagavad Gita, can become an authorized preacher or preceptor in the science of Krishna. So the need for the science of Krishna in the human society, for all the suffering humanity of the world, and we would simply request the leading personalities of all nations to take some information of the science of Krishna for their own good and for the good of society and for the good of all people of the world. Is that motivating or what? This will move on in the Delhi Bhagavatams, and you can read the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya, summarized by Śrīla Prabhupāda at the beginning, because there's a direct connection between Lord Chaitanya and the preaching work that Prabhupada undertook, and in spreading Krishna consciousness in the Western world. And for fear that he could not finish his work, he very brilliantly put this at the beginning of this 1962 Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam from Delhi. Just see he's not assuming he's going to live on forever. We should never think that. You could die at any moment, that's for sure. So don't think that you're just going to be able to carry on and everything. I'll get up every morning and I'm going to be healthy. That's also foolishness. When you get up in the morning, realize, here, I'm still operating. Let me take my energy today and engage it as best as I can in my devotional service and carry out the mission, your mission. Prabhupada's talking about this. Your mission, which is to save yourself. And how can you save anybody else if you can't save yourself? That doesn't make sense. So surrender is the issue. We have to work on our own person. It's a hard job. I know, I'm still working on it, so I'm speaking from experience. It's a tough job here. I'm a thick head. We all have thick heads. We all rationalize who we are, not what we should be, but what we can't be because of our thick brains. Some people that are honest will look at themselves first. They'll look at their own personal behavior and say, I have to rectify this. Person Bhagavatam, Prabhupada's talking about it. He wants his followers to represent this philosophy in the best way, as we were talking. I don't want to bring it up all the time, but it's really appropriate that we've got to this point where we have the Bhagavatams available for distribution. Can you imagine, Pure Angelo, how this took place? Is that a miracle? Do you see it as a miracle that this is happening in front of your very eyes? How did it happen? Well, I'll tell you how it happened, because we did it. That's how it happened. It's not a guess. You don't have to guess. It's here. The books are tangible. And everybody, please consider how you're going to do it. And then I put my phone number up here on the screen, both my number and WhatsApp. Call me up. I'm available 24 hours a day. Okay, just so know that. There's no schedule here. It's called eternal time. We are not in 2025, everyone. If you think you are, think again. And whatever you're thinking is wrong. I used to say that to devotees. Whatever you're thinking, Prabhu, it's wrong. Think transcendental, eternal, spiritual activity to the mission of Lord Chaitanya and Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. And in this way, we'll carry on, because this is time, place, and circumstance. We're in a different time, Pure Angelo, a different place, a different circumstance. It's 2025. There's a different methodology that we're learning together as a group, how to cultivate people. That's hard too. If you hopefully everyone here has 3 or 4 or 2 or even one other person they're preaching to. Because if we have 40 people coming to the class and everyone's cultivating a one person, then that makes it 80 people. And if they're cultivating, and if 80 people cultivate one person, that's 160. Is that good? Well, it's better than nothing. It's not anything. It's peanuts. Nobody. But souls are very rare to come by. And someone made a comment here. Can we gift the Bhagavatam to somebody? Sure, you don't have to sell them the book. It may be awkward to ask for money. So give it to them. But qualify them first. qualify them that they really want it and they're going to read it. And then by all means, gift it to them and let them become a devotee. And in this way, Krishna will bless you by performing the highest welfare work. If you can just make one devotee, try it. I've had experience, and I'll finish up and we'll switch to Yasoda's. I've asked a few of my godbrothers, Yasoda, that I've known for 40, 50 years. I'm not mentioning any names. It's not necessary. I don't want to embarrass them. I asked them this question. Prabhu, how many devotees do you think you've made in your career of 50 years? And you know what the answer is? None. 0. Well, does that speak about how you are committed to this Sankirtan movement? Yes, it does. Actions speak louder than words. Make an effort to at least cultivate one person, everyone, and get that one person to get a set of Bhagavatams. And we spread this cult of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam all over the world under the orders of our spiritual master. Yasodā-nandana, talk to us about time, place, and circumstance in today's program. Hare Krishna.
We're starting a new program today.
Okay.
It's called Missing Pieces in the Puzzle. It's been sent by email to a few of you. I don't know if you can be reflected on the screen. Basically, this was compiled in 1996 when I was in Badger, California. Different devotees started to ask me all kinds of questions, which I really had no satisfactory answer. So I started to compile a little essay, article, with different questions about what happened to so many different conversations that took place, which we know had to have taken place during the last few months of Śrīla Prabhupāda's manifested presence. It's called Missing Pieces in the Puzzle. I'm just going to read a little bit of an excerpt from it today. I don't know if it can be manifested on the screen, but we'll gradually have it there. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. A well-wishing friend recently suggested that I may have been in illusion about thinking that the guru issue in the Krishna Consciousness movement was a philosophical issue. He asserted that it had been more to do with an underlying economic issue than a philosophical one. When I tried to argue and question about the nature of a so-called appointment, he replied that before any discussions about a so-called appointment of gurus or a so-called appointment tape could even be considered seriously, any and all relevant conversations and statements from His Divine Grace Śrīla Prabhupāda would have to be brought up, not one conversation out of context. He further pointed out that there are still allegations that there are conversations with Śrīla Prabhupāda which are said to be missing. He then elaborated further and said that there seems to be gaps in the current records of the published conversations with Śrīla Prabhupāda in the last few months of Śrīla Prabhupāda's manifested presence. I replied that not every single word that was spoken at all times was recorded. He said that there were many known conversations where devotees participated or heard the discussions with Śrīla Prabhupāda, and those were missing. He suggested that this would be a subject for further investigation for the leaders of the Krishna Consciousness movement before they discuss a so-called guru issues. I left it at that and pondered for some time. A careful analysis and detailed study of Śrīla Prabhupāda's conversations in the last 8 months of his manifested presence seems to confirm my well-wishing friend's admonitions. In addition, my personal experience, as well as the personal experience of several other devotees who were with Śrīla Prabhupada in Vrindavan in 1977, confirmed the above observations. Śrīla Prabhupada several times stated the importance of why his conversations were being reported. I think the first question is kind of basic, is why everything always tape at all the time? Śrīla Prabhupada, because we've got so many branches, they want to hear me, my singing, my speech, therefore they record it and send it to different branches. This was an interview with Śrīla Prabhupada on February 1st, 1968 in Los Angeles. Then another conversation, Doctor, why do you tape record? Harry, sorry. Everything Prabhupada speaks with tape record, and then everyone in the world can listen. This is a room conversation with Śrīla Prabhupada on September 29th, 1976 in Vrindavan, India. We'll leave it at that, and we'll take that on Wednesday evening at 5:00 p.m. We'll continue a little bit of reading of this, and there's a lot of very interesting points. Again, I just compiled this, but there are many other devotees that were involved in discussing this and providing different quotes and points. Thank you very much. Back to you in the studio, Vishwakarma. How do you
Yeah,
feel?
it's Prabhu's. It's an interesting look at history, okay, and the history of the ISKCON group and Prabhupada's mission. And this section that you've presented this morning is, again, facts, not fault. We're not fault finders, we're fact finders. And unfortunately, a lot of people do not know the facts. It's been consciously covered up. This is the business of people who are lying or cheating. They cover up. And along with that, they indoctrinate. Indoctrination is misinformation. It's interesting, we have a fellow that came to Hamilton, a new bhakta, and what was from LA, I don't know where he is, he's like wandering around. He was the Sankirtan leader there for I don't know what reason. At any rate, so confused. This fellow is totally confused. He has a lot of potential to serve, but he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know to go left or right. So every day he's going this way, and the next day he goes another way. And he's so confused by this indoctrination. Because people talk. That's what people like to do, is talk. And you know, it's very interesting to note that Prabhupada said, we do not have opinion. The opinion is something different than Shastra, because Shastra presents the truth. And we try to explain to our members, this is the truth. These are facts. They're not faults, whether it's a cover-up or a misinformation campaign. It's to help people get through the clutter of confusion. And that is a big thing that's going along. People are very somewhat confused by the circumstances that have evolved. And this is common for most organizations, just so you know. It's not specific to just this group, but all groups, that these systems of cover-up and misinformation, indoctrination go along in every group. You look at the American government, for example. You've got two parties, the Republicans and the Democratic Party. Now, if you see the CNN broadcasts, they're both using these strategies against each other. Misinformation and cover-up. Even in the governments, there's misinformation, there's cover-ups. In the religious groups, for example, and I mentioned this earlier, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu, you look at the Muslim preachings, and it's all confusion. This group, that group, thousands of different changes, thousands of different points of view, different types of leaders, all competing for their own personal gain. This is the business of the conditioned soul. We are in the Kali Yuga, the Iron Age of quarrel and hypocrisy. And this is a tragedy. It's also a blessing for us because we see the difference between Maya, Vijaya Pandit. You see Maya when you go out and you associate with these people. Like he went to a festival recently, an ISKCON festival. And he had these books that he was distributing. What are they called now? What's the title? The Guru books that you have? What's that called? Microphone. Put the microphone on for him. I have a copy of it here. Sorry. Let's see.
Acharya for the Golden Age.
Yeah, Acharya for the Golden Age. And what do they do? Here it is. I got this one here. There it is. So he had this book. He was out there. It's a explanation of Prabhupada as the bona fide spiritual master. And the group that came up to him told him, you can't do that, right? We don't want your books.
Temple president.
Oh, the group.
But I go forward to distribute. But I go forward to distribute. Even he told me, don't distribute. I go forward.
Okay. So that's the point. This is going on everywhere. All this facts, not false, misinformation, and cover-up. These things are going on everywhere in every situation throughout the world. We have to transcend this problem and move forward. And we are. And you know something, Prabhus? It's blissful. If you have problems and you work on solving them for Krishna and for Prabhupada, you have service. And when you have service, you have everything. If you don't have service, you have zero. You have zero. And when you die, that life that you have is wasted. You know, I'm going to move forward with our discussion with our panel, but it was very interesting being in Mexico with Gopal Prabhu and watching him tragically, in a sense, pass away day after day in a state of complete suffering. And I have a beautiful picture of him. Remember I brought that Ganges water to him? Mother Uchisha, I brought that. I have a picture of him drinking it. When he came back from the hospital, it's a great pastime how it happened that I managed to find the bag of water. It was in a bag in my suitcase and it was broken open. And I thought, oh God, I better. And I managed to salvage a bottle of it. I put it in a bottle in my suitcase before I left for Mexico. That was just uncanny that worked out. Why? How I even got the idea to save it. I could have just said, oh, the heck with it. But I didn't. I thought, oh, okay, I gotta take this. And when he come back, he was drinking the water all along while he was sick, the Ganges water. And I thought, geez, this is uncanny, the benefit, despite the difficulty that he was in. He was still And when he came back from the hospital, I have a picture of him. He goes, "Oh, give me the bottle." There was a bottle. It was about this much water left in it. And he started to drink it up to the last days of his life. What is the benefit? Who can understand the transcendental benefit of that situation for him? And he was blessed. So devotional service to others, distributing Bhagavatam, preaching, purifying ourselves, chanting our rounds, eating our prasadam offered properly, distributing prasadam, distributing books. There's lots to do, and we should always make an assessment of what we're doing, not what we're saying. Talk is cheap. Everybody likes to talk. I know, I like to talk too. I try not to talk nonsense. But talk is cheap. Actions always speak louder than words. And the actions of our membership to take up this mission of distributing the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam in their circles of influence is really going to get the attention of Krishna and Prabhupada. And listen to what I'm saying. It's not idle words. Let's go forward. Krishna Katha in, where is he? San Diego? Somewhere there in the mountains. Can you get to the microphone, or are you busy feeding the goats? Is he there? There he is. Yeah, you are feeding the goats. Am I right or wrong? Put his microphone on, Prabhu.
I'm going to sell it, and so I'm unable to really participate much in the wonderful talk, but ultimately today's class is so packed with our entire philosophy and how you just said, Vishva, it's all about action, because if we don't have service, whatever it is, however tiny, even if it's a phone call that gets someone else in action, that is also devotional service. So it doesn't matter how much it appears externally that there's maybe one devotee seemingly more in action than another. That is not what Krishna sees. He just sees your desire to get into action, and however slight or however big, it's seen the same in God's eyes. And I have been very blessed by you and Yaśodā and the whole PDA group to be able to help bring these books to real manifestation. They're ready to go out. And I know we're working on that phase. But again, anyone that can help in any way at all, that is the action you're talking about. That's my realization and my takeaway from today's class. But I got to get back to what I'm doing. It's a different.
What are you doing? Okay, let me ask you this. Are you feeding the goats? Come on, tell the truth.
I am not. That was an hour ago.
Okay, I knew it.
They were making too much noise an hour ago, so I got them to quiet down with their food.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Krishna Katha. We'll keep going. All glories to Prabhupada. And thank you, everyone, for being a part of this mission of ours. And it's a wonderful mission. We have a devotee in Hamilton. I hope he can come to the microphone. It's a friend of mine. And he's been coming to the classes for a few years now, Joe Felice. And he's a friend of Yaśoda's and myself. And I've known Joe for 38 years or so. He may say longer. He thinks it's longer. I don't know. It's a long time. And he's very interested in our mission. He's helped on many occasions to do this and donated money and time and effort. Joe Felice in Hamilton, Ontario. Maybe you could say a few words for the group here at today's Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam class. Oh, excuse me. So that's his wife, Karen, who's also, and she's writing with his phone. She's saying, Joe's driving and we're listening in the car. Okay, so you're exonerated from being responsible to speak. I'm going to go to our friend who ordered a set of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatams yesterday, Amber Eddy. ND, excuse me, and she's a devotee of Prabhupada's and an upcoming initiate. Bhakti and Amber, could you share some information on your realizations or your thoughts today on today's Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam class?
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
Mostly, I was thinking, since I'm very much a book person
Yeah.
and a literature person, I kept thinking about about translations. I spent most of the past 20 years, most of my professional life, let me say, teaching outside of America to students who
Oh,
English is not their first language. So I was teaching English to non-English speakers. And it really shows you how expert you have to be in culture and language. And it's, being able to understand something in another language is very, very difficult. It's not just grabbing some words and then finding the definition. That really goes wrong very, very quickly. And that was one of the exercises I used to do with students. I taught in China for 4 years, 5 years. Oh my God, 5 years. And for them to translate something from Chinese into English and then translate it back. And it was just amazing how much the meaning got lost. And so when we were talking about, the Delhi Bhagavatams and talking about, having to take them from somebody who with expert knowledge, that's what I was thinking. It's transcendental knowledge and linguistic knowledge. And so many people, like, I forget if it was you or Yaśodā-nandana, were saying these people don't understand, who are writing their own things or thinking, oh, well, I know some Sanskrit now, I'm going to write my own commentary. And it's just very, very, it takes a lot of experience and realization and things to do that properly, especially something as exalted as this topic.
Yeah.
So, that's just made me appreciate all the more what Śrīla Prabhupāda had to do and how expertly he did it from all kinds of all kinds of angles. Let me say, it's awesome in so many ways.
Excellent. Yeah, we really appreciate all of you around the world for participating. And, our goal is to help everyone become inspired to, because we all have limited time. And so it's important that new people take it up and carry the torch when we're gone. And death is for certain. No one can deny that. But we're living with optimism. And by the way, my son also, Bhakti and Amber, my son lived in Shanghai for 5 years. Yeah, he lived in a condo there.
Oh, I love Shanghai. That was my favorite big city.
Oh, really?
China.
Yeah,
I
it's
mostly lived outside. But yeah.
It's strange how people in the West have a different perspective on that country. They still, I think a lot of people think it's still rickshaws and straw hats. It's quite unfortunate. But nonetheless, he has a good experience there. So, and a very positive one, actually. He has a lot of good Chinese friends, and he speaks some Mandarin. And he's a member of our board of directors for the Hare Krishna Society. And it's functioning, so it's a good thing. So thank you, everyone, for being a part. And thank you, both of you, or the people that made comments. And I'm sorry, we'll get Joe Felice or Karen, his wife, who's a real estate broker, to speak in the future. But we do thank them for being enthusiastic to hear the philosophy and put up with us for now the class, as you all know, is expanded. We're not doing the old system, it's an hour and a half and we got to stop. And we've gone through evolution. Nowadays we say, okay, hop on board, get on the bandwagon, and we'll ride this set as long as it goes. We'll try to slow it down because there's still more things that we want to present to all of you in these classes. I call it the PhD, Amber, Bhakti and Amber, the PhD of Krishna conscious study, because we're drawing from all of Prabhupada's teachings and capsulizing them in these programs, not just concentrating on one issue, but on the philosophy overall of Krishna consciousness presenting by Śrīla Prabhupāda. We do not speak from opinion, but from fact. And Yaśoda, of all the people, Yaśodā-nandana Prabhu is preaching, and he has amazing memory. I don't know how he does it, but he's unique. I'm not going to glorify him too much, but when you come to the classes, you'll hear him give thousands of examples to justify everything he says based on Prabhupada's teachings. And that's really magic. This is a magic moment for all of us in eternity. And we're going to move forward with the next section of our program. Ram Raghava, is it we're doing another section of Prabhupada speaking to us?
Yes, this lecture is about 5 minutes.
Okay, let's roll that. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vāsudevāya. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam. Anarjadustam, not at all befitting a man who knows the progressive values of life. Aryan means who are progressive. So, this dejection of Arjuna in the battlefield is described as befitting a non-Aryan. Aryan, according to Aryan civilization, as described in the Bhagavad Gita, there are 4 divisions inaugurated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As you have already explained, Dharmam tu Sakshat Bhagavattani, any systematic religious process is to be understood, it is given by God. Man cannot make any religious system. So, this Aryan system, progressive system, is Chaturvarnam Maya System Guna Karma Vibhav. Krishna says it is introduced by me for very good management of the social order. Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. So, Arjuna belonged to the Kshatriya family, therefore his hesitation to fight in the battlefield is not befitting the Aryan. For the royal order to become non-violent, this is not good. The Kshatriyas, when they are fighting in the battlefield, the killing is not a sin for them. Similarly, a Brahmana, when he is offering sacrifice, sometimes animals are sacrificed. So, that does not mean that he is committing sin. This animal sacrifice was made not for eating the animal. It was for tasting the Vedic mantra. Whether the Brahmanas who were engaged in offering sacrifice, whether they were chanting the Vedic mantra in right way, that was tasted by offering one animal and again giving the animal a new youth life. That was animal sacrifice. Sometimes horses, sometimes cows were offered. But in this age, Kali Yuga, they are forbidden. Because there is no such Yajnik Brahma. All kinds of sacrifices are forbidden in this age. Ashamedham gavalambham sannyasam palapaitrikam devarena sutatpatti kalau pancha vivarjay. Ashamed sacrifice, Gomed sacrifice, sannyas, and to get child by Deva, husband's younger brother. These things are forbidden in this age.
Time, place, and circumstance. So Prabhupada's explaining about the past. And in the current age, the sacrifice is the Sankirtan Jaga, the Sankirtan process of chanting Hare Krishna in the streets and distributing to other people Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, as we talked about today. So all of us, please, let's carry together this mission as a team and make our lives successful by working together to spread the mission of Lord Chaitanya in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, which we have. And here it is. The Delhi Bhagavatams, they're so beautiful, aren't they? Ram Raghava, how many people are watching on YouTube today? Just curious.
There were 14 people right now. There are 12 people watching.
Wow, that's a good number, 14 to 24. You know, it's not numbers, it's quality that we're looking for, and we've got it. We've got a really good group, a steady group, and thank you everyone for being part of this program. What's next on the program, Ram Raghava?
Next is the Śrīla Prabhupāda Kirtan for 2.5 minutes. Or
okay, 2.5 minutes, that's, you know, go ahead. And what else?
And then recitation of the 10 offenses by Rupa Gosvāmī Prabhu, and then japa.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the program. All glories to Śrīla Prabhupada in the distribution of the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam globally. Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 8, Offenses to be Avoided. The offenses against the chanting of the holy name are as follows. First, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Second, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Sometimes the atheistic class of men take it that any demigod is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. But one who is a devotee knows that no demigod, however great he may be, is independently as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, if someone thinks that he can chant Kali, Kali or Durga, Durga, and it is the same as Hare Krishna, that is the greatest offense. Third, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Fourth, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Fifth, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. Sixth, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. Seventh, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. Because by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can be freed from all kinds of sinful reactions. It should not be taken that one may continue to act sinfully and after that chant Hare Krishna to neutralize his sins. Such a dangerous mentality is very offensive and should be avoided. 8th, to consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities. Karma Kanda. 9th, to instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Anyone can take part in chanting the holy name of the Lord, but in the beginning one should not be instructed about the transcendental potency of the Lord. Those who are too sinful cannot appreciate the transcendental glories of the Lord, and therefore it is better not to instruct them in this matter. 10th, to not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names, and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success.
Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhakti Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram.
Let us offer our respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnava devotees. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who can fulfill the desires of everyone, just like desire trees, and we're full of compassion for the fallen souls. Thanks everybody for participating in these lively discussions and readings today. Thanks Vishwakarma Prabhu in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Vijay Pandit in Italy. Rochisa Devi Mataji dans les Laurentides, dans la belle province de Québec, avec les belles images de Prabhupada en arrière de toi. Bhaktin Veronica in Italy. And Pierangelo in Switzerland. Neil Sharma Prabhu, although a little late, always welcome, from Florida. Krishna Kata in San Diego. Ram Raghava Prabhu in Georgia. Michael Dillon, Yuba City, California. Radharani with a beautiful pom-pom and a nice smile and the attentive hearing of Bhagavatam. Bhaktin Amber with your wonderful comments. Thank you for coming from Florida. And Forest Temple with a beautiful Prabhupada hat in Mexico. Shiv Narayana Prabhu in Japan. Bhakta Anshuman Mishra in India. Bhakta Roy in Mississippi. And every Triloka Vijaya in Florida. And everybody participating. Thank you very much for attending. Please join us on Wednesday afternoon at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific Standard Time, corresponding to 8 p.m. Eastern Time in the USA for another exciting reading of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Thanks, everybody. Let's hear a very lively kirtan again. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.